What if I told you that some of the most common vegetables, ones you've been told are healthy your whole life, can actually do real harm to your body after the age of 60? I'm not talking about rare, exotic vegetables. I'm talking about the ones in your fridge right now. The ones you chop into your salad, stir into your soup, or blend into your smoothie every single day. It sounds shocking, but the science is clear. In this video, I'll reveal 5 vegetables that can quietly damage your health after 60, and 5 others that can do the exact opposite. Support your heart, feed your brain, and even slow down the biological aging process. We'll look at the science behind oxalates, lectins, solanine, nightshades, and high glycemic loads. We'll talk about how these compounds interact with your aging organs, your medications, your blood sugar, and your bones. And most importantly, we'll give you powerful, science-backed alternatives, vegetables that act like medicine for the body. The kind of vegetables that have been proven in clinical trials to reduce cancer risk, protect memory, lower blood pressure, and rebuild the immune system. So whether you're struggling with joint pain, feeling foggy and forgetful, managing high blood pressure or diabetes, or simply wanting to stay strong and independent for as long as possible, this video was made for you. Before we start, subscribing to the channel helps me keep creating these helpful videos and reach more people. Thank you. Now let's get started. Section 1. Spinach, hidden oxalate trap. For decades, spinach has been celebrated as a nutritional powerhouse. Doctors recommend it. Dietitians call it a superfood. And for good reason. It's rich in iron, folate, vitamin K, and magnesium. But here's the truth very few talk about. Spinach is not ideal for everyone, especially not for adults over 60. Why? Because spinach is loaded with a compound called oxalate. Oxalates are naturally occurring substances found in many plants, but spinach happens to be one of the richest sources on Earth. Just 1 cup of cooked spinach can contain almost 1,000 milligrams of oxalate. To put that into perspective, that's more than 20 times what's considered a safe daily amount for someone with kidney concerns. So what happens when you eat spinach regularly, especially if you're over 60? Oxalates combine with calcium inside your body. They form tiny crystals, sharper than glass, invisible to the naked eye. And over time, these crystals can build up in your kidneys, forming kidney stones. Painful, obstructive, and sometimes even life-threatening. And here's the catch. The damage builds silently. You may eat spinach every day, thinking you're helping your body, while these crystals grow slowly, until one day they block your urinary tract, trigger unbearable back pain, or even send you to the ER. A major Harvard Medical School study tracked over 100,000 people and found that those who consumed spinach regularly had a 63% higher risk of developing kidney stones. And the risk was even higher in older adults. Why? Because after 60, your kidneys aren't filtering as efficiently. Your detox systems slow down. And what a younger body might be able to flush out, an aging body tends to accumulate. But oxalates don't just harm the kidneys. They also interfere with your body's ability to absorb key minerals, including calcium, magnesium, and iron, nutrients that are absolutely essential for seniors. Think about that. You might be eating spinach to boost your iron levels, or to strengthen your bones with calcium. But those nutrients are being trapped by oxalates and passed out of your body and used. This can lead to iron deficiency anemia, bone loss, muscle cramps, and even cardiac stress. And it doesn't stop there. Spinach also contains goitrogens, natural substances that can suppress thyroid function. In people over 60, especially those with already sluggish thyroid activity, this can lead to fatigue, weight gain, cold intolerance, and heart rhythm disturbances. And for those with sensitive digestion, spinach's high fiber and oxalate content can irritate the gut lining, leading to bloating, cramps, or even chronic inflammation. In fact, a review from the Journal of Clinical Gastroenterology warns that high oxalate greens like spinach can contribute to symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome, particularly in older adults with reduced digestive enzyme output. Let's not forget contamination risks. Spinach is one of the most frequently recalled vegetables due to E. coli outbreaks, especially dangerous for people with weakened immune systems. Older adults are particularly vulnerable, and foodborne illnesses can escalate quickly. So what's the takeaway? It's not that spinach is bad. It's that it may not be right for you anymore, not in the amounts or frequency that are commonly recommended. If you're over 60 and eating spinach daily in salads, smoothies, or side dishes, it may be time to rethink that habit. especially if you've ever experienced kidney stones, have low energy, weak bones, or digestive discomfort. What's the alternative? There are leafy greens that offer similar nutritional benefits without the oxalate overload. Arugula, packed with antioxidants and nitrates that support blood flow and heart health. Watercress, a true nutrient-dense green with anti-inflammatory compounds. Swiss chard in moderation, lower in oxalates than spinach, but still rich in magnesium and vitamin K. These greens are easier on your kidneys, friendlier to your gut, and safer for your mineral balance. Remember, healthy eating is not about doing what worked when you were 25. It's about adapting to what your body needs now. Section 2. Onions, gut disruptor and blood thinner combo. Let's start with the digestive system. Onions are extremely high in a type of fermentable carbohydrate called fructans. These are long chains of sugar molecules that the human body cannot digest. Instead, they travel to the large intestine where gut bacteria begin to ferment them rapidly, producing excessive gas, bloating, and abdominal discomfort. Now, that might not be a problem for a healthy 25-year-old, but for someone over 60 with slower digestion, reduced enzyme production, and possibly even a weakened gut barrier, this fermentation process can lead to severe bloating, painful cramps, irritable bowel flares, and even dangerous intestinal blockages. A study from the University of Munster followed over 2,000 seniors for 5 years. It found that regular consumption of onions was linked to a 91% increased risk of gastrointestinal complications, from persistent bloating and acid reflux to hospitalizations for bowel obstructions. But the trouble with onions doesn't stop in the gut. They also contain thiosulfates, sulfur compounds that can interfere with red blood cells. These compounds can damage the structure of your red blood cells, leading to a specific form of anemia called Heinz body anemia. Symptoms? Fatigue, shortness of breath, brain fog, and poor circulation, all of which are often misattributed to normal aging, while the real culprit might be something as simple as the onions on your plate. And then comes the most dangerous part, onions' natural blood-thinning effect. They contain compounds that can reduce platelet aggregation, meaning they prevent your blood from clotting efficiently. For some people, that's helpful. But for adults over 60, many of whom are already taking blood-thinning medications like aspirin, warfarin, or clopidogrel, this can be a serious risk. When onions interact with these medications, the result can be uncontrolled internal bleeding, spontaneous bruising, or even hemorrhagic stroke. And here's the scary part. The signs of these interactions often don't show up until it's too late. Renowned integrative physician Dr. Andrew Way warns, onions are one of the most underestimated risk foods for seniors on medication. Their interaction with anticoagulants can be subtle but life-threatening. And that's not all. Onions are also a known trigger for acid reflux and GERD. The sulfur compounds can relax the lower esophageal sphincter, allowing stomach acid to splash up into the throat, leading to burning chest pain, sore throat, or chronic coughing. This effect is magnified in older adults, especially those with weakened esophageal muscles or hiatal hernias. Allergic reactions are another concern. Onions can cause rashes, hives, or even anaphylactic reactions in sensitive individuals. For seniors with weakened immune function, these reactions can escalate quickly. And let's not forget their impact on medications beyond blood thinners. Onions contain enzymes that affect liver metabolism. They can speed up the breakdown of certain heart medications, blood pressure pills, and even diabetes drugs, reducing their effectiveness without you realizing it. The result? Your prescriptions don't work as expected. Your heart rate becomes erratic, your blood sugar fluctuates, and your doctor might increase your dose, without realizing your diet is the true issue. And lastly, contamination risk. In recent years, onion-related salmonella outbreaks have been on the rise. In the past 5 years alone, more than 40 outbreaks were traced back to contaminated onions. For someone with a fragile immune system, this can lead to life-threatening infections within hours. So, what should you do? If you've been eating onions daily, especially raw, and you've experienced indigestion, fatigue, or strange medication effects, your body may be trying to tell you something. Here's the safer path. Chives. They offer a similar flavor, but far less fructan content. Leeks cooked. Milder and gentler on the gut when fully cooked. Garlic in small amounts. Still part of the allium family, but when cooked thoroughly and used in moderation, it's often better tolerated. The key is moderation and listening to your body. Section 3. Carrots, the sweet saboteur for diabetics. Carrots, particularly when cooked, have a surprisingly high glycemic index. That means they can raise your blood sugar much faster and higher than you might expect. Raw carrots have a glycemic index of around 47, which is moderate. But cooked carrots? They can spike as high as 92. That's higher than white bread. Higher than some breakfast cereals. Why? Because the cooking process breaks down the fiber structure in carrots, releasing sugars more rapidly. The result, a sugar surge into your bloodstream. For someone over 60, especially if you have type 2 diabetes, insulin resistance, or even prediabetes, this can become a metabolic landmine. In fact, a 4-year study by the University of Toronto tracked over 1,800 older adults with type 2 diabetes. It found that those who consumed cooked carrots regularly had 52% higher average glucose levels and a 67% increased risk of developing diabetes-related complications like neuropathy, retinopathy, and kidney damage. And here's the kicker. Carrots contain more sugar per gram than many candies. One large carrot can have over 9 grams of natural sugar. Eat a few carrots thinking you're being healthy, and you've just consumed the equivalent of a chocolate bar, without the chocolate warning. And that's not all. Carrots are rich in beta-carotene, the orange pigment that gives them their color. And while beta-carotene is an important antioxidant, too much of it can lead to carotenemia, a condition where the skin begins to turn yellow-orange. It's not dangerous in itself, but it can be mistaken for jaundice, leading to unnecessary medical testing or even panic. Now let's consider digestion. Carrots, especially raw, are very fibrous and difficult to break down. In older adults with slower digestion or reduced enzyme production, this can lead to bloating, cramping, and constipation. And for people with a sensitivity to birch pollen, a surprisingly common allergy in northern climates, carrots can trigger oral allergy syndrome, an immune reaction that causes itchiness in the mouth, throat swelling, or even more severe symptoms. Even more troubling is how carrots interact with certain medications. They've been shown to interfere with the absorption of beta blockers, a class of medications commonly prescribed for heart disease. By slowing the absorption or altering the bioavailability, carrots can weaken the effect of these medications, potentially leading to irregular heartbeats or dangerous blood pressure fluctuations. And then there's the issue of pesticide contamination. According to a report by Stiftung Warentest in Germany, 96% of carrot samples tested positive for residues from at least 8 different pesticides. For aging bodies, already burdened by slower detox capacity, these chemicals can build up and place additional stress on the liver and kidneys. So here's the bottom line. Carrots aren't bad, but they are not as harmless as they seem, especially if you're eating them every day, if you're diabetic, or if you have underlying metabolic or cardiovascular conditions. Here's what you can do instead. If you love the sweet crunch of carrots, switch to lower glycemic vegetables that are much easier on your blood sugar and digestion. Zucchini, mild, hydrating, and versatile in both raw and cooked form. Cucumber, crisp and refreshing, with almost no sugar and excellent for hydration. Celery, a great low-calorie, low-sugar snack that supports digestion and blood pressure. These alternatives can offer texture, fiber, and micronutrients without the blood sugar spike. Section 4. Tomatoes, nightshade-triggered inflammation. Tomatoes belong to the nightshade family of vegetables. This group also includes potatoes, eggplants, and bell peppers. And all nightshades have one thing in common. They contain solanine and lectins, natural defense chemicals that can cause trouble in sensitive individuals. Solanine is a glycoalkaloid. Its job in nature is to protect the plant from insects, but when consumed by humans, especially in large amounts or over time, it can become a joint and nerve irritant. Older adults with osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, or even mild joint stiffness may find that tomatoes worsen their symptoms, especially if eaten frequently. In a study published in the Journal of Clinical Rheumatology, nearly 1 in 3 seniors with joint pain reported noticeable improvement after removing tomatoes and other nightshades from their diet for just 30 days. But what about lectins? Lectins are proteins that bind to carbohydrates and are found in the seeds and skins of tomatoes. In small amounts, they may not be an issue. But for someone over 60, with a thinning gut lining and possibly pre-existing inflammation, lectins can penetrate the gut barrier, triggering an immune response known as leaky gut. The symptoms? Joint swelling, fatigue, brain fog, skin flare-ups, and, ironically, poor nutrient absorption. It's your body's way of saying, this food doesn't belong here anymore. And let's not forget their acidic nature. Tomatoes are highly acidic. For younger people, this might not be a problem. But for older adults with weakened digestive systems, tomatoes can trigger or worsen acid reflux, gastritis, and stomach lining irritation. You may enjoy a bowl of tomato soup today, but pay the price tomorrow with chest burning, hoarseness, or even nighttime coughing from silent reflux. Even more alarming, drug interactions. Tomatoes contain a substance called tyramine, a naturally occurring amino acid. Tyramine can interact negatively with a class of medications known as MAO inhibitors, which are used to treat depression and sometimes Parkinson's disease. When tyramine and MAO inhibitors mix, the result can be dangerous blood pressure spikes, heart palpitations, or even hypertensive crisis, a medical emergency. This risk is not widely known, yet it's incredibly important for older adults who may be taking such medications without thinking twice about that tomato on their sandwich or in their salad. And if you're thinking, well, I only eat organic tomatoes, consider this. A 2023 analysis from Consumer Reports found that even organic tomatoes often contain traces of nightshade alkaloids, especially in the skins and seeds. Washing or cooking may reduce some of the content, but not enough to eliminate the risks entirely. So what can you do? If you're over 60 and experiencing joint discomfort, indigestion, or mysterious fatigue, your daily tomatoes might be playing a role, even if you've eaten them your whole life without problems. Remember, your body changes with age. What once nourished you might now quietly drain your energy, irritate your gut, or interfere with your medications. Consider safer, gentler alternatives. Red bell peppers, naturally sweet, rich in vitamin C, and far lower in inflammatory compounds. Radishes, crisp, anti-inflammatory, and supportive of liver detox. Steamed pumpkin, soft on the stomach, low in acid, and full of fiber and carotenoids. These swaps can help you enjoy flavor, texture, and nutrients without the joint pain or digestive backlash. Section 5. Eggplant, the toxic load nobody warns about. It's often called exotic. Let's start with solanine. Just like tomatoes, eggplants belong to the nightshade family, and they contain solanine, a natural pesticide the plant produces to protect itself. While small amounts may not harm a healthy young adult, seniors have a very different risk profile. As the detoxification systems in the liver and kidneys slow down with age, your body becomes less efficient at clearing solanine and similar compounds. The result? They build up. And when they do, they can irritate the nervous system, causing symptoms like muscle twitching, tingling in the hands or feet, brain fog, or even mild tremors. But that's just the beginning. Eggplant is also known for its ability to absorb heavy metals from the soil. Studies conducted in regions with poor agricultural controls found that eggplants often accumulate lead, cadmium, and mercury, especially in the skin and outer layers. When consumed regularly, this can create a slow, invisible toxic load that burdens the brain, kidneys, and immune system. And for people over 60, even trace amounts of these metals can interfere with memory, coordination, and energy. A report in the Journal of Environmental Toxicology warned that chronic intake of heavy metal-laden vegetables may play a subtle but significant role in neurodegenerative conditions like Parkinson's and early-stage dementia. Then there's nicotine sulfate, a naturally occurring compound in eggplant that is chemically similar to nicotine. Yes, nicotine, the addictive substance found in tobacco. Eggplant doesn't contain it in large amounts, but it's enough to trigger a mild reward response in the brain. Over time, this may explain why some people find eggplant strangely comforting or crave it, even if it causes indigestion or other issues. It's not true addiction, but the neurological loop is very real, especially in brains more sensitive to subtle neurochemical shifts, as is often the case after 60. Now let's talk digestion. Eggplant contains insoluble fiber, oxalates, and polyphenol, which in combination can make it hard to digest for many seniors. The result? Gas, bloating, acid reflux, or unpredictable bowel movements. Even worse, eggplant has been shown to inhibit iron absorption in the gut. This is crucial for older adults who may already be borderline anemic. So while you're trying to eat healthy, you may actually be worsening iron deficiency, leading to fatigue, pale skin, or dizziness. And let's not forget allergies. Eggplant is a known cross-reactive food with latex and certain pollens. That means people who have sensitivities to latex gloves, bananas, or ragweed might experience mouth itching, skin rashes, or swelling after eating eggplant, without knowing why. So what can you do? Safer, satisfying alternatives include mushrooms, rich in umami flavor, easy on digestion, and great for immune support. Zucchini, light, hydrating, and incredibly versatile. Roasted squash, soothing to the gut and rich in anti-inflammatory compounds. These options can deliver texture, depth, and satisfaction without the neurotoxic load, the heavy metals, or the gut disruption. Section 6. Broccoli, anti-cancer powerhouse. If there's one vegetable that deserves a permanent spot on your plate after 60, it's broccoli. What makes broccoli so extraordinary? One word: sulforaphane. Sulforaphane is a natural compound found in cruciferous vegetables, especially in broccoli sprouts and florets. And its effects on the body go far beyond basic nutrition. Let's break it down. When you eat broccoli, especially when it's lightly steamed, an enzyme called myrosinase is activated. This enzyme helps convert compounds in broccoli into sulforaphane, which has been shown in over 150 scientific studies to support cellular detoxification, reduce inflammation, and even protect DNA from damage. In simple terms, sulforaphane acts like a microscopic cleanup crew, sweeping up harmful free radicals, neutralizing toxins, and stimulating the body's own antioxidant defenses. For someone over 60, whose natural detox processes have slowed, this is a game changer. Let's go deeper. A study from Johns Hopkins University found that older adults who consumed broccoli daily had significantly higher levels of phase 2 detox enzymes, especially glutathione S-transferase, an enzyme that helps the liver neutralize harmful compounds like pesticides, air pollutants, and even medication byproducts. In other words, broccoli doesn't just feed you, it upgrades your internal protection system. Now, what about chronic diseases? Broccoli has been linked to reduced risk of several major conditions that disproportionately affect older adults. Cancer, especially prostate, colon, and breast cancer. Sulforaphane triggers apoptosis, cell death, in abnormal cells while leaving healthy ones intact. Heart disease, thanks to its anti-inflammatory, cholesterol-lowering, and blood vessel-protecting properties. Alzheimer's disease. Studies show that sulforaphane may reduce the buildup of beta-amyloid plaques, which are linked to memory loss and cognitive decline. Type 2 diabetes. Broccoli helps regulate blood sugar and improves insulin sensitivity. It's almost as if nature designed this vegetable specifically for aging bodies. And here's something else that makes broccoli special. It contains indole 3-carbinol, another compound that supports hormonal balance and liver health, which is especially important as we age and our endocrine systems become more delicate. But how you cook broccoli matters. Boiling it for too long can destroy sulforaphane and other key nutrients. The best way to prepare it? Steam it lightly for 3 to 4 minutes. Just enough to soften it slightly, while keeping its bright green color and nutrient profile intact. Or go even further, try broccoli sprouts. They contain up to 100 times more sulforaphane than mature broccoli, and they're easy to sprinkle on salads, sandwiches, or soups. What about digestion? Many seniors avoid broccoli because they've experienced bloating or gas. That's understandable. Cruciferous vegetables do contain complex fibers. But the solution isn't to avoid broccoli entirely. It's to start small, chew thoroughly, and pair it with ginger, fennel, or a probiotic to improve tolerance. You don't need a plateful to benefit. Even half a cup a day can nourish your cells, protect your brain, support your liver, and calm systemic inflammation. Section 7. Kale, cognitive and bone guardian. If you had to pick just one green to fight aging from the inside out, you might want to choose kale. This humble leafy vegetable has been around for centuries, but only recently have scientists begun to uncover its extraordinary benefits for the aging brain, bones, and eyes. And what they've found is nothing short of remarkable. Let's begin with the brain. Kale is rich in 2 powerful antioxidants, lutein and zeaxanthin. These compounds are usually known for supporting eye health, but research now shows they also play a key role in protecting the brain. In fact, a large study from Harvard University and Brigham and Women's Hospital found that higher levels of lutein and zeaxanthin in the blood were strongly associated with better cognitive performance in older adults, especially in areas like memory, processing speed, and executive function. And here's something even more striking. The Rush Memory and Aging Project, a long-term study of seniors in Chicago, found that older adults who ate 1 to 2 servings of leafy greens like kale each day had the cognitive function of someone 11 years younger than those who rarely ate greens. 11 years. That's not just a statistic. That's the difference between independence and dependence, clarity and confusion. Why is kale so powerful? Because it combines a broad nutrient profile with targeted compounds that aging bodies crave. Let's look at its vitamin K content. Kale is one of the richest natural sources of vitamin K1, which is essential for 2 major reasons. Bone health. Vitamin K activates osteocalcin, a protein that helps bind calcium to the bone matrix. Without enough vitamin K, bones can become brittle and more prone to fractures. Brain protection. Vitamin K plays a role in synthesizing sphingolipids, a class of fats that are critical for maintaining brain cell membranes and signaling. As we age, our ability to absorb and store vitamin K declines, which makes getting it from food sources like kale even more important. But there's more. Kale is also high in calcium, magnesium, potassium, and manganese, all minerals that support nerve function, muscle control, blood pressure balance, and bone density. This is crucial because after 60, we naturally begin to lose bone mass and muscle strength. Adding kale to your meals just a few times a week can slow this decline and help you maintain the foundation that keeps you upright, moving, and strong. And unlike dairy, kale's calcium comes without added fat or inflammatory potential. Now let's talk about the eyes. Lutein and zeaxanthin in kale don't just float around in the bloodstream. They accumulate in the retina, where they help filter out harmful blue light and reduce the risk of age-related macular degeneration, the leading cause of vision loss in people over 65. So by eating kale, you're not only feeding your bones and brain, you're also protecting your vision, your independence, and your ability to enjoy life. The best part? Kale is incredibly versatile. Add it to smoothies, saute it with olive oil and garlic, mix it into soups, or enjoy it raw in a salad with lemon juice and a sprinkle of seeds. Just be mindful of portion sizes if you're on blood thinners like warfarin. Because of kale's high vitamin K content, you may need to adjust your dosage in consultation with your doctor. But for most older adults, kale is not just safe, it's a nutritional gift. One that supports sharper thinking, stronger bones, clearer eyes, and a steadier body. And when combined with other healing vegetables like broccoli and sweet potatoes, it forms a dietary triangle that supports graceful, vibrant aging. Section 8. Brussels sprouts, inflammation fighter and immunity builder. Brussels sprouts are one of the most powerful healing vegetables you can eat after 60. Why? Because these little cruciferous bulbs deliver a potent combination of inflammation-fighting compounds and immune-boosting nutrients, exactly when your body needs them most. Let's start with their most impressive feature, glucosinolates. These sulfur-rich phytochemicals are naturally present in Brussels sprouts, and when you chew them, they're converted into isothiocyanates, a family of compounds known for their strong anti-inflammatory effects. And why does that matter? Because after 60, your body is more prone to chronic low-grade inflammation, sometimes called inflammaging. This silent inflammation contributes to heart disease, joint pain, memory decline, and even cancer. Brussels sprouts help interrupt this cycle. They work on a cellular level to calm inflammatory pathways and reduce oxidative stress. Think of them as a natural off switch for the inflammation that slowly damages your tissues with age. But Brussels sprouts do more than just fight inflammation. They also strengthen your immune system, which naturally weakens over time. Here's how. Vitamin C. Just half a cup of Brussels sprouts provides over 80% of your daily vitamin C needs. This powerful antioxidant boosts white blood cell function, helping you fight off infections, viruses, and even slow wound healing. Vitamin A precursors. These support the health of your skin, respiratory tract, and gut lining, your body's first line of defense. Folate and vitamin B6, essential for producing immune cells and supporting a healthy inflammatory response. In short, Brussels sprouts help your immune system respond more effectively and more calmly, especially during seasonal illness or periods of stress. Now let's talk about cardiovascular health. Brussels sprouts contain camphorol, a flavonoid that protects blood vessels, reduces LDL cholesterol oxidation, and may even support healthy blood pressure regulation. A review in the journal Nutrients found that regular consumption of cruciferous vegetables like Brussels sprouts was associated with a 15% lower risk of heart disease in older adults. They're also rich in fiber, which helps. stabilize blood sugar, lower cholesterol, support digestion, promote gut health, key for immune balance. But here's the secret. How you cook Brussels sprouts determines whether they heal you or hurt you. When overcooked, they become mushy, sulfurous, and lose key nutrients. But when lightly roasted, steamed, or sautéed, especially with olive oil, lemon, or a sprinkle of herbs, they transform into a flavorful, nutrient-dense delight. And yes, they can be gas-forming for some. But pairing them with carminative spices like ginger, fennel, or cumin, or starting with small portions, can help your body adjust easily. Section 9. Beetroot, blood flow enhancer for seniors. If you're over 60 and want to keep your circulation strong, your blood pressure balanced, and your brain sharp, beetroot may be one of the most underrated allies on your plate. What makes beetroot so special is its high content of dietary nitrates. Now, that might sound concerning. Nitrate often gets a bad reputation when we talk about processed meats. But the nitrates in vegetables like beetroot are completely different. These plant-based nitrates convert in the body into nitric oxide, a powerful molecule that tells your blood vessels to relax and widen. This process is called vasodilation, and it's especially important as we age. Why? Because after 60, our blood vessels become stiffer and less responsive. This makes it harder for blood to flow freely and contributes to high blood pressure, fatigue, cold extremities, and even brain fog. Nitric oxide helps restore flexibility to blood vessels, improving overall circulation. This means more oxygen reaches your heart, your brain, your muscles, and even your skin. In fact, a study published in Hypertension showed that older adults who drank beetroot juice daily saw a significant reduction in systolic blood pressure, often within just a few hours of consumption. But beetroot's benefits go beyond blood pressure. Let's talk about memory and cognitive function. Nitric oxide also improves blood flow to the prefrontal cortex, the brain region responsible for decision-making, attention, and memory. One study from Wake Forest University found that seniors who consumed beet juice before exercise had greater brain connectivity in regions that typically decline with age. Translation: beetroot may help your brain stay younger longer. And if you're someone who enjoys gentle physical activity, like walking, yoga, or gardening, beetroot can enhance exercise performance and endurance, even in older adults. Now, let's address a common concern. What about blood sugar? Beets have a natural sweetness, which might raise alarms for diabetics. But here's the good news. Despite their sweet taste, beets have a moderate glycemic index and a low glycemic load. That means they don't spike blood sugar sharply, especially when eaten in whole form and paired with fiber or healthy fats. In fact, research in nutrients found that beetroot consumption can improve insulin sensitivity and help stabilize post-meal glucose levels in older adults. But there's more. Beets are rich in folate, supports heart and brain health; potassium, helps regulate fluid balance and nerve function; vitamin C and antioxidants, protect cells from oxidative stress; betalains, unique anti-inflammatory pigments that support detoxification. And here's something fascinating. Betalains also support liver function, making beetroot a gentle aid for natural detox, especially useful for older adults with slower metabolic clearance. How to enjoy beetroot: roasted with a dash of olive oil, grated raw into salads, steamed and mashed with garlic, blended into smoothies with a bit of lemon and ginger, or even as a low-sodium juice, preferably fresh. And don't forget the greens. Beet leaves are edible and loaded with calcium, magnesium, and iron, perfect for bones and energy. One note: if you notice pink or red urine after eating beets, don't worry. It's called bacteria and is completely harmless. Section 10. Artichoke, liver detox hero. Fatigue, brain fog, sluggish digestion, rising cholesterol, and even skin problems. All of these can be signs that your liver needs support. And that's where artichoke steps in. This spiky green vegetable may look intimidating, but it's a true liver ally, packed with compounds that help your body cleanse, rebalance, and thrive. Let's start with cynarin. Cynarin is a unique phytonutrient found in artichoke leaves and hearts. It's been shown to stimulate bile production, which helps your body break down fats more efficiently, eliminate toxins through the digestive tract, lower LDL cholesterol levels, and improve glucose metabolism. When bile flows more freely, your digestion feels lighter, and your liver doesn't have to work as hard. This is crucial after 60, when bile flow tends to decline, leading to fat intolerance, bloating, and sluggish digestion. But cynarin doesn't work alone. Artichokes are also rich in inulin, a prebiotic fiber that feeds the good bacteria in your gut. Why does that matter for your liver? Because a healthy gut reduces the burden on your liver, helps modulate inflammation, and improves nutrient absorption. It's a beautiful partnership. In fact, a study by the University of Palermo found that older adults who consumed artichoke extract showed significant improvements in liver enzymes, cholesterol balance, and metabolic health. Another USDA-supported study confirmed artichoke's role in supporting detoxification pathways, reducing markers of oxidative stress, and even protecting the liver from damage caused by environmental toxins. But liver health is only the beginning. Artichokes are one of the most antioxidant-rich vegetables on the planet. They're packed with quercetin, rutin, anthocyanins, and silymarin, compounds known for their anti-aging, anti-inflammatory, and cell-protective effects. These antioxidants don't just protect the liver. They support your brain, your heart, your skin, and your immune system. In fact, eating artichokes regularly has been linked to lower blood pressure, reduced inflammation, improved cholesterol profiles, and a decreased risk of age-related diseases. Artichokes have a low glycemic load, making them suitable for people with diabetes. They're high in fiber, which helps regulate digestion and keeps blood sugar stable. How to enjoy them? Steamed with lemon and herbs, grilled with olive oil and garlic, baked hearts in casseroles, or pureed into a savory dip. Just don't discard the leaves. They're actually the most nutrient-dense part, especially for liver support. And if you don't have access to fresh artichokes, high-quality frozen or canned in water, versions still offer great benefits. Even artichoke tea or standardized supplements can help, especially when taken consistently. So if you're looking to age with more energy, better digestion, and a lighter, cleaner system, bring artichokes to your table. And if this video helped you feel more informed, more empowered, or even just more curious about your health, I kindly invite you to subscribe to this channel. Thank you for being here.